started. Well, guys, as I said to you today, we're going to cover lesson number 10, part 1, right? In which we are going to be talking about the world itself, and also we get here some vocabulary on the environment. The environment, right? Now, on this vocabulary, hang on, just let me look at something. Let me see. Apparently, there's people here. All right, let's continue. On the environment. So the first activity that we're going to do before we go straight to the explanation on the grammar that is going to be reporter speech, we're going to work on some exercises before we get there, right? So the first exercise we're going to get to is this one. Number 1, part B, the environment. So you are going to try to give me answers to each of these questions right here, if possible. And also, you need to tell me what the meaning of each of the words or phrases involved are, right? So, for example, what do you think pre-prepared food is? Then you give me the answer. The answer is not supposed to be in Spanish, but in English, right? So I want you to give me definitions in English of each of these words right here, all right? So let's get started and let's go with the first question. But before going on the first question, let's read this, even though I already told you or explained to you how it is going to be. So look at the sentence below. These are the 5 sentences or questions, to be honest, and try to explain the meaning of the words or phrases involved. So the ones I just showed you right here, you can see them on your screens. Also, all right, also, you are going to try to give answers to my questions or to these questions. So let's go with the first one. So how much of the food you buy is pre-prepared or processed, sorry, or how much is organic? Now, I want you to tell me, like, from 1 to 10, how much is pre-prepared, how much is processed, and how much is organic, all right? Go ahead and answer your question. This is just like personal information, all right? This is personal information. So before you answer that question, I want you to give me the definitions of each of these words. So let's first ask you this word, pre-prepared. So guys, what do you think is the meaning of the word pre-prepared? Pre-prepared, what is that? It's hot. Ooh, my neck cracked. All right, pre-prepared. What is the meaning of the word pre-prepared? What do you think it means? Pre-prepared food. We're talking about food in this question, so pre-prepared food. All right, as no one wants to read, no one wants to answer, I'm going to choose one person, you know? I'm going to choose, I don't do this, right? But I'm going to choose one person just from out of my list right here. Let me see, where are you guys? Here you are. Where's my, all right. Fiamma Iarte. Miss Fiamma, what is the meaning of the word pre-prepared? Or what do you think what do you think pre-prepared food is? All right, pre-prepared. So, Miss, what is the meaning of pre-prepared food? I didn't hear you. All right. Another person. I got here, Caroline Hart. Miss Hart, so what do you think pre-prepared food is? Miss Hart, what do you think the meaning of pre-prepared food is? I'm going to do just like this to have a All right, let's just try to go another person. Here I have here Nayeli Zambrano. Miss Nayeli, can you answer my question?
Yes, mister.
All right, go ahead.
Well, pre-prepared is the food that we see often in grocery stores, like frozen food that you
Okay.
need to heat it quickly to eat it.
All right, very good. So this pre-prepared food, as the name implies, is this food that is not prepared in this moment and then you eat. No, is a type of food that was prepared some time ago and is normally inside a container. It can be either on a package or on a box or on a can. I'm sorry, in a box or in a can, right? So just like, just similar to what Ms. Nayeli said, that's good. Pre-prepared food. Now, what do you think is processed food? Processed.
Mister, I want.
Go ahead, Miss Maria.
I think that process is the food has had some sort of chemical or industrial treatment in order to cook it.
Exactly, right? Normally, it has some special industrial treatment, right? It's like the preparation is a little complex and it has some chemicals inside. Very good, Miss Maria. And how about organic? What do you think organic means? What is the meaning of organic food?
Mister, like farming,
All right.
the food that
Uh,
grows in a farm,
there you go.
like vegetables and fruit.
Fruits, great. All right. So we got organic, that are the ones that we harvest, right? Like you were saying, vegetables and fruits. Yeah, that's good. Now, number two, how much of the food you eat is processed, is produced in the country you live in? I mean, this is like kind of weird because here in our country, I mean, I think it's pretty much pre-prepared and sometimes processed, but well, I think it's like a, a mixture of all of them, right? How about number three? Because we are going for the ones in bold. How is your home heated? Do you use energy saving light bulbs? How's your home heated? I think we cannot say this here in Barranquilla because in Barranquilla is so hot. So it's more like how is your home cooled, right? How is your home cooled? And how do you use energy saving light bulb? So guys, what is an energy saving light bulb? See, you can say, you can answer if you want to, right? Otherwise, I'll choose a person. See here.
Mister, it's like the artificial light that we use that reduce like the amount of energy that we that light generate.
Excellent. That energy generates. Good. Now take a look. I don't know whether you can see up there. Can you see up there?
Yes.
All right. There was a light bulb, right? An energy saving light bulb. Normally, or most of the time, energy saving light bulbs are those white light bulbs, right? Good. That we used to save energy. That's why they are they say, or to reduce energy saving light bulbs. Now, very good. Let's go over number 4. Is your house insulated or double panned? All right, this one is a little difficult, so I'm going to try to explain it to you. In the case of insulated is when, is what we use when there is like, it has nothing by its surrounding, right? Let's say that it's something that is just alone. In this case, an insulated house is like aislado or aislada, right? When it doesn't have the company of anything else. So that's why it has
Maybe a
like,
house in the middle of in the middle of the forest.
all right, you got it. Maybe a house in the middle of the forest is an insulated house. Very good, miss. A great example. And in the case of double pan, is also called double glazed, right? And in Spanish, because it's also difficult to explain this in English. Well, in English, it's more like when we speak about the windows or the glass itself, right? You know, the glass. But this glass has, it's like double. It has like one glass here, a very thick one, and another glass right here, another very thick one that prevents like sound, or that is very hard to get broken, right? To break. So that is a double pan. In Spanish, I do not exactly the meaning. I'm going to look it up for you, but I think it's like doble cristalización. I don't remember exactly how to say that, but I'm going to look it up to you. For you guys.
Profe, a mí me salen pain solo que panecillo.
Yo, but I'm going to show it to you so you can see it. The double paint house. I'm going to let me look for the meaning in Spanish because I don't know the meaning in Spanish exactly. I know what it means, but it's not like the meaning. Let me look it up for you. The meaning is doble acristalamiento. Doble acristalamiento. Let me show you a picture so that you can see better what it looks like, because even with that name, it's a little difficult to understand. Now, hang on. Give me a second. Double panned house. All right, I'm going to show you my screen with you. Are you seeing my screen, like the Google thing, the Google web page?
Yeah.
All right, this is a double pane house. We're talking about all right, let me look up the images here. This is what we are talking about, guys. Take a look at this part right here. Like, this is a normal glazing type. We have a double and a triple glazing, what makes it like more like thicker, right? This is what it is here. Take a look at it. This is what the glass looks like. It has like one glass and it has another glass, and right in the middle it has some space there, and that's what the double pane house is. And it's normally used for it's like for safety and stuff like this, right? That is like harder, it's like more secure, it's better. Let's go back to the book. Was it a book or was the PowerPoint presentation? What was
It's
the book?
like glass type. Okay.
It's like a type of glass, yes, of window that not exactly a window, because it can also be a door. It can also be something else on another part that is made of glass, right? Something that is double but made of glass. That's what it means. All right, let's continue. Do you turn your lights or machines off when you leave them on standby? Or you leave them on standby. So what do you think the meaning of a standby is? What is a standby? Now, let me get it up there.
Mister, I want.
Go ahead, thanks, Maria.
I think that is something that is always ready for use, especially if a regular one fails.
Exactly, right? So imagine that you are watching television in your bedroom and then you leave, right? You are not in your room anymore, but you were watching television and the television was on, right? Then you leave and the television is still on, right? It's still working. I mean, even though it means that it's ready, it's working. That's a standby, right? So leave it on a standby, it means that it's still working, it's still functioning, it's still ready to function, all right? That's what a standby means. Very good, Miss Maria. It was excellent. Number 6, when you're buying a product, do you consider how to recycle the packaging? Packaging. What is that for you? What do you think it means?
Mister,
Go ahead, Miss.
I think that is the material that we use to protect things or objects.
The material we use to protect things or objects. Yes. Yes, that's great. The material we use to protect things or objects, especially. No, that's fine. That's fine. That was a perfect definition. Very good, Miss. 7, how often do you buy or sell or give away second-hand things or second-hand items? Second-hand items. All right, guys? Go ahead. What do you think it is? It
Teacher,
was. Yeah, yes, Miss. Go ahead.
maybe things are not new and have been owned by someone else.
All right. Good. Something that has been owned by someone else or has been possessed by someone else. And now you have it. Right now it's yours. A second-hand thing. Something that has already been used. Very good, Miss Valeria. Very good. Like, for example, let's pretend that you want to buy an iPhone, right? But you don't have money, you don't have enough money to afford it or to buy it, or to buy a brand new one, like coming out from the store. Now, but you have a friend who has it, he wants to buy a different cell phone, he wants to switch brands, and now he's just selling his iPhone phone, and he talks to you and he says, all right, I'm not going to give you this because it's not new, I have already used it, so how about we negotiate it and you get it? There you go, you buy it and you get a second-hand phone, right? That's what second-hand is, like something that is already used. Number 8, how much of your garbage is recycled? Recycled, well, we already know, it's like easy to understand, so we can skip this one, guys. All right, so let's move on the next exercise. The next exercise is going to be, I'm going to choose 5 people to read each of these paragraphs right here, right? You are going to read about the ethical man in the USA. And after you finish reading this, I want you to be very concentrated on the reading and understand the make sense of it all so that you can answer these questions, 6 questions right here. Now, the only rule is that for these questions, right, you have to use the following prompt, or you need to begin like this. In the test, the man or he says, or he said, right? Or just he said, right? This is the way you should answer the questions, like, why did Justin decide to try living ethically for a year? Well, in the test, or he said, in the test he said, or only he said that he decided to do this because of this, this, and this, right? So that's what I want you to do. But before we get to answering these questions, let's come here to read. So take a look at the man, right? The ethical man in the US. So my name is Justin Rowland, and I'm the ethical man. All right, who wants to read the first paragraph?
Me, teacher.
Go ahead, miss.
My family and I spent a year doing everything we could to try to reduce our impact on the environment. We changed the light bulbs in our house to energy-saving bulbs. We changed the way we heat and power our home. We stopped flying and we got rid of the car. Instead, We walked, used bicycle, or took public transportation. We did our grocery shopping online, ate organic vegetables, and I even stopped eating meat for a month. My heavily pregnant wife, B, walked 2 miles to the hospital in the middle of the night to give birth to our third daughter, Elsa. When we went on vacation to France, instead of choosing a 2-hour flight, we went on a nightmarish 12-hour journey on the train in a heat wave.
In a heat wave. Very good, miss. Another person. Number 3.
Me.
Go.
Okay. I had hoped our effort would demonstrate how normal families could help to reduce their impact on the environment.
Okay.
But despite our best efforts, we only reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 20%. Clearly, the effort of ethical men and women action alone are not the answer. So what is?
So what is? Very good, miss. Thank you. Number 4. Another person. All right. 4. Another person. Whew. All right. 4. Camilo Peña. Is Camilo here? No, Camilo is not here.
Mr. Me.
All right, go ahead, miss.
I had a new idea, and now I'm traveling across America in search of some solution. Each American is responsible for 20 tons of CO2
2. Yeah.
emissions, more than twice that of the average European.
The average European. All right. Good, miss. Thank you, Miss Candy. Number 5.
I want
Mister.
All right. Who said I?
Me.
me, Maria.
Me.
All right. Who are the 2 people that are saying me? Caroline? No. Who said it?
Nicole.
Oh, Nicole.
Maria.
All right, Maria. Let's leave Nicole read this time. All right, because you already read there. But you can read the last part, Miss Maria. So Nicole, go ahead. Number 5.
The idea of the trip is simple. I think if we can solve it here, we can solve it anywhere. But as ethical men, I have to keep my environmental impact to a minimum. Of course, I'm going to fly from Britain, but after that, my challenge is to get around in the most low carbon way possible. I'll be traveling miles, so
6,500 miles.
miles. So it's not going to be easy, but I will use public transportation wherever possible. During my trip, I talked to ordinary people, businessmen, and politicians to hear their views on climate change and discuss ways in which we can try to reduce the carbon emissions, and I'll drive an electric car.
Along the way, please give me advice. Please give me advice. I want your thoughts on what we need to do as a society to make the cuts in emissions that are needed. Do you have an idea for a solution to climate change? Are you inventing the solution in your garage? If you are, please let me know.
Thank you. Very good, Miss Maria. Good. Now let's answer the questions. Remember, I'm going to show it to you one more time, that the rule is that you need to answer these questions beginning this in the following way. In the text, sorry, he said, or just he said, the way you want. All right. So let's begin with the first one, guys. Let me see right over here. Hang on. hang on. All right, number one. Why did Justin decide to try living ethically for a year? What do you think? So guys, what do you think?
Teacher, would you?
Yes, I mean, question number one, take a look. The idea is that you start the answer by saying in the test he said, or he said, right? For example, why did Justin decide to try living ethically for a year? I'm going to give this answer to you as an example, right? Well, in the test, he said that he tried to live living ethically because he wanted to live greener, to live healthier, right? He wanted to reduce his impact on the environment. He wanted to be greener, honestly. So that's the answer, right? That's my answer. He said that he wanted to be cleaner and he wanted to save a lot of energy and reduce his gas emissions, but not only his. Now he's trying to do it for everyone, right? Now, number two is your turn. Did he and his family enjoy the experience? What do you think? What do you think, guys? Did he and his family enjoy the experience? All right, I'm going to choose a person then if you are not giving me any answer. Now, let me see here. I'm just going to choose it like this, like randomly when it goes. You know, when like this. Oh, let me see if the person is here. For some reason, oh, he's the one who said that is not. Yeah. Another person. Candy Ramirez. Miss Candy, answer number two. Did he and his family enjoy the experience? What do you think?
No, no.
Why not?
Because he said that this is a nightmare. Nightmares.
Oh, no, that is not a night marriage. Night marriage is another thing different, right? Este no es una pesadilla.
Okay.
This is more like they are talking about how to say this? A journey, how to say this? I forget how to say that in Spanish.
Viaje.
Thank you. De noche, all right? Un viaje largo de noche.
Okay.
So, all right. Did he and his family enjoy the experience? Well, maybe they did because they went all of this for a year, right? So they say they did, right? Actually, in the test, it doesn't say, yes, we enjoyed it. But taking into account all the things that he did, then you can say that he enjoyed and his family also enjoyed it, right? So let's move on to number three. What kinds of things did they try to change? What kinds of things did they try to change?
Mister,
Go ahead, Miss.
the things he does are eat organic vegetables,
Vegetable?
he walks. When go on vacation, they prefer take a train.
They prefer to take a train. Good. All right. Number 4. Why is Justin traveling to America?
Me.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Fiamma. Sorry, Miss. Go.
Okay. Yes. In the test, say that he traveled to America to find solutions to help the environment.
Excellent. He said that he traveled to America to search solutions for the environment damage. Good. Number 5, how does he plan to travel around America?
He said that he put simple.
Mhm.
He will use public transportation
Okay.
wherever possible, and he think talk to to talk when ordinary people do cement and pollution
Politicians.
politicians.
All right. Good. Now, something that you gotta take into account is, all right, let's continue. That was great, Miss. That was perfect. But I'm going to tell you something later on, right? So number 6, what sort of solutions or what kinds of solutions is he looking for? I mean, the kind of solution is the one actually, honestly, is the one that Candy said, right? Like he wants to speak to people and he wants to try to make it change. So yes. Now, guys, when you were saying, or in the case of Candy, for example, let's take Candy's example. She said that, well, she said that he said that he will talk to ordinary people, right? He said that he will talk to ordinary people. As I told you before, today's topic is going to be reporter speech. And when we use reporter speech, give me a second, guys. So I forget what I was saying. Well, reporter speech, right? Let me put this to charge. All right. So reporter speech. Today's topic is about reporter speech. And when we get these sort of sentences like he said, like I was telling you to use in the test, right? In the answers of the questions. The idea is that you need to use it, need to say it, but what happens afterwards? So what happens when you say, he said that? What happens, right? Now, for example, Candy said this. I'm going to write it so that you can see it, all of you. Hang on. I'm not going to use it here. I'm going to use it right over here. All right. So Candy said, he said that he will talk to ordinary, where is it? Ordinary. Hang on, give me a second.
People.
Yes. I was accepting someone. Sorry. People. What is that? People, right? So take a look. That's what she said. Now, like the idea, her idea is correct, it's fine, right? But the grammar is not. What happens? This is reporter speech. And what is reporter speech? It's just like reporting or repeating an idea that another person or an information that another person has said in the past. And then you want to say that person to that information to another person. Like in this case, I was asking you like what solutions he was looking for, and then you say something like, well, he said that he will talk to ordinary people, right? So you're just like repeating the information that he gave. As the real information, the information he gave was, happened or was produced or was expressed sometime in the past. When you repeat the information, it's not the present. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same tense anymore. It's going to change. In the test, he says, "I will talk to ordinary people in the future," right? But this is what he says now. But when you repeat the information, you are not supposed to use the same. You are supposed to change a little bit the tense, right? So he said that he would talk to ordinary people. Now it makes sense. Why am I changing this? Is what I am going to teach you today. And this is what reported speech is, right? So we are going to start, we're going to like close this part here, and let's go to the main thing. Before going on the PowerPoint presentations, because we're going to use two, right? Let's go over this chart right here. I just don't want you to fill them in now. I just don't want you to fill in anything. I just want you to know these two things. First, we have direct speech, which is this part, and reported speech, which is another thing, right? Let's switch to Spanish. So this is completely clear. Direct speech. ¿Qué les dice a ustedes o cómo podrían ustedes, chicos, intentar traducir esta palabra o esta frase que está aquí? Direct speech. ¿Qué significa eso para ustedes? ¿Qué creen que significa? No necesariamente tienen que saberlo, right? Pero ¿qué creen ustedes que significa direct speech en español? ¿Qué entienden ustedes por direct speech?
Como cuando uno habla directamente, que no estás diciendo que otra persona está hablando, sino que estás hablando tú solo.
Exacto, right? Es como siguiendo la definición o de pronto el concepto que Miss Luz nos acaba de dar, es la información que nosotros damos a la hora de hablar. Es decir, una oración normal, right? Una oración normal. Esto en español sería discurso directo, right? Es simplemente la información que nosotros damos. Por ejemplo, yo...
Información personal.
No necesariamente, puede ser lo que sea, right? Por ejemplo, mira aquí, yo tengo un ejemplo. Yo como pizza. O yo dije, por ejemplo, Colombia es el mejor país del mundo. Un ejemplo. Eso no es información
Por eso,
mía.
o sea,
Ese es mi punto de vista, right?
Como información personal de lo que uno ha hecho, lo que hace, lo que piensa.
Más que todo un pensamiento. Sí, es como, digamos que todas las veces que ustedes hablan en inglés, todo eso que cuando le hacen una pregunta y ustedes responden de manera directa a la persona que le pregunta, y cada vez que ustedes dicen cualquier información, eso es un direct speech, right? Entonces, como tal, se puede dividir en dos. Direct speech, que es lo que decimos normalmente, por ejemplo, ahora yo digo ahora, Colombia es el mejor país del mundo. ¿Eso quién lo dice? Lo digo yo. De manera, ¿quién se lo digo? A ustedes directamente, right? Eso es un direct speech. Yo como pizza. Es información propia mía, pero igual sigue siendo información, ¿cierto? Direct speech. Ahora, esto se divide en dos. El direct speech, que en español sería discurso directo, and reported speech, que en español traduciría a discurso indirecto. ¿Qué es el discurso indirecto como tal? Como les había explicado antes con la oración de Miss Candy, es repetir una información, right? Repetir la información que alguien más ya ha dicho en el pasado. Entonces, si yo hace un momento dije que Colombia era Colombia es el mejor país del mundo, ¿cierto? Digamos que Miss Luz no escuchó y Miss Luz le pregunta a Miss Fiamma, ¿qué dije yo? ¿Cómo le dirías tú, Miss Fiamma, a Miss Luz lo que yo dije?
Bueno, yo comenzaría diciéndole he said.
En español, please. En Spanish, please.
Que el profesor dijo tal cosa.
All right. Voy a decir nuevamente la tal cosa. Colombia es el mejor país del mundo.
Entonces yo le diría, el profesor dijo que Colombia es el mejor país del mundo.
Ok, esa es una versión que también existe en inglés, pero es la versión que les quiero mostrar, right? Normalmente decimos Colombia es el mejor país del mundo. Bien. O el profesor dijo que Colombia era el mejor país del mundo, right? Entonces, eso más que todo depende del momento en el cual la información real o la primera información la cual vas a replicar fue dicha, right? Ya que si tienes de pronto esta información, así como lo dices, pero lo acabo de decir justo en este momento, pues se puede usar la manera que está diciendo Miss Fiamma. Pero, igual manera, sigue siendo un discurso que ya fue en el pasado, una información que ya fue dicha. Por lo tanto, está en pasado. Lo que quiero decir es que si una oración está en presente, cuando van a hacer ustedes el reporte o van a replicar esa información, van a repetir esa información a otra persona, la información ya dicha, esa información tiene que estar en
Pasado.
pasado. Si la información está en pasado, la información real está en pasado, si tú la vas a replicar, tiene que estar en pasado. Perfecto. Y así sucesivamente. Eso es el reported speech, right? In other words, the reported speech is the art of rumors and the art of gossiping. For example, imagine there is something bad or wrong happening on your block, right? On your street, and then your neighbor is like listening or gossiping, chismoseando what is going on, and then that person says to another person what happened or what heard, right? Un rumor, un chisme, y así empiezan a decir lo que ya se escuchó previamente. That's what we use reported speech. And reported speech, guys, is used mostly for everything in everyday life, even in Spanish, English, or any other language, right? So imagine yourself, you're in your house and you are with your brother or sister, and your mother is calling up your sister, and you say something like, let's say, Juanchita, ven a lavar los platos, but Juanchita didn't hear her mother. So what happens? Hey, Juanchita, my mother said that you had to go to wash the dishes, right? What is that? Reported speech. You are, again, repeating the information that was said before. I'm going to explain to you in more detail in 2 PowerPoint presentations today, right? The first PowerPoint presentation is going to be more like general, and the second one is going to be more in detail, all right? So let's get down to the PowerPoint presentations of today. Can you see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes,
teacher.
All right, so as I said to you before, another way of calling this reported speech is indirect speech. ¿Por qué es indirecto? Porque simplemente no es una información que sale de ti, sino es una información que ya fue dicha, right? Ya fue usada y tú la vas a repetir. That's what it is, right? That's why it's indirect. So, rumors and gossip, that's what we use this topic for. So take a look, we're going to have a conversation. These 2 people here are going to have a conversation, and you are going to try to analyze what is going to happen right over here, right? So the first 2 people, this man is saying something like, have you heard the latest gossip about the new teacher? No. What is it? Maria said, Maria, ojo con esto. Maria said the new teacher didn't give any homework. Maria said the new teacher didn't give any homework, right? Really? Victor told me that students could eat in his class. Then the other man says, oh, Larissa said that the new teacher had given all the students an A last semester. Wow, I heard he was an easy teacher. Now, there was a conversation. Now let's try to analyze each of the sentences that they gave, right? So take a look. Maria said that the new teacher didn't give any homework. This is the reported speech, guys. But what do you think is the real information here? If I say Maria said that the new teacher didn't give any homework. If this is the reported speech, what is the information in the direct speech? What do you think?
I think is didn't give any homework.
But that is the repeated information. What would be the real information? The information that you repeated. What is the real information? Try to think about it. Maria said,
teacher
yeah,
doesn't give any homework.
very good, Miss Bonfante. So here, the teacher does not, what is that? What did I write? All right, the teacher does not give any homework. The teacher does not give any homework. So, el profesor no da o no pone tareas. esta es la oración en presente, en el momento en que lo dijo, ¿cierto? Ahora, él está repitiendo esta oración. Él está repitiendo esta información. Pero ¿qué pasa con la información? Esta información, digamos que fue dicha hace 3 horas, ¿right? 3 horas después, este chico le cuenta a este otro chico lo que María dijo en ese momento, hace 3 horas, ¿cierto? So, María dijo que el profesor no ponía tareas, right? María said that the teacher didn't give any homeworks. So, esta es simplemente la repetición en este momento de una información que fue dicha en el pasado.
Pasado.
Clear?
Yes.
All right, let's move on with more examples so that you can make it like clearer, honestly. Let's move on. And Victor says, really, Victor told me that students could eat in his class. This is, one more time, the reported speech. Then guys, what is the real information or the direct speech?
The students could eat in class or in his class.
You
Or
sure?
in
Mr. Jesus, go ahead.
That students can eat in his class.
All right, can, right? Students can eat in his class. There you got it. Esta es la oración nuevamente que se dijo en el momento, en ese momento era presente, right? Y ellos dijeron, los estudiantes pueden comer en clase, en su clase. Pero ahora que este muchacho, tiempo después, le dice a este otro muchacho lo que otra persona, en este caso Víctor, dijo hace tiempo, pues no van a repetir la información de manera exacta, ya que si ustedes lo hacen de manera exacta, entonces tendrían que hacer lo siguiente. Un ejemplo les voy a dar para que vean la diferencia. Víctor, un Víctor raro con K, right? Victor told me, well, Victor said that the teacher, tell me that the students, Victor told me, wow, told me, hang on, ¿dónde estás? How do I do this? I need the quote. Here it is. We got the other. ¿Podrían leerme esta oración que está aquí? Por favor, la que acabo de escribir.
Profesor, una pregunta, o sea, eso sí va, porque, o sea, yo esa vaina la veo rara. Yo
¿Cuál, la que
veo
escribí?
Sí.
Ok, ¿me pueden decir, por favor? Trata de leerla, Mr. Jesus, así como está exactamente.
Víctor me dijo, los estudiantes pueden comer en clases.
Exactamente no es, si tú lo dices como yo lo tengo escrito de esta manera, no es exactamente lo que estás diciendo. ¿Qué pasa?
No tiene sentido, porque diría, Víctor me dijo, estudiantes pueden comer en clase.
Ok, ahora, recuerden que en inglés, si generalizamos, ya lo habíamos visto, le quitamos el de, so los estudiantes pueden comer en clase. Bien, pero ¿qué pasa en este caso? Este no es un reported speech, sí, chicos, eso es un direct speech. ¿Y qué es un direct speech como tal? O un quoted speech. El quoted, como lo estoy haciendo aquí con los dedos y como está en oración, quoted speech es una cita. ¿Qué pasa con las citas? Las citas son, esto sucede mucho en los libros, son las historias, que a veces está, ¿qué pasa cuando está de pronto una línea entre paréntesis, digo entre paréntesis, no entre comillas?
Lo dijo literalmente.
Como la persona lo dijo, es decir, que si la persona estaba llorando, un ejemplo, yo soy Víctor, y Víctor en ese momento estaba llorando. The students can eat in his class. Y luego ustedes hacen algo como esto, siguiendo lo que dijo Víctor de la misma manera en ese momento, entonces esto se leería de la siguiente manera. Victor told me, students can eat in his class. I mean, I have to do it literally the same. right? Por eso, esto es un direct speech o un quoted speech. Ahora, si yo le quito las... I forget how to say this, right? Like, the quote, the quotation. Se me olvidó ya en español otra vez. Quotations, quotations. How do you say this? Quotations.
Las comillas.
Thank you. Quotations, comillas. Si le quitamos las comillas, ¿qué pasa? Ahora no tendría sentido como tal la oración. ¿Qué tenemos que hacer? ¿Por qué? Porque esta oración, students can eat in his class, esto fue dicho ¿hace cuánto? Pues no sabemos, pero ya fue dicho en el pasado, ¿cierto? Y esa oración pertenece al pasado. Esa información ya pertenece al pasado. Ahora, como nosotros lo estamos diciendo en este momento, una información, repitiendo una información que fue dicha en el pasado, ¿qué tenemos que hacer? Colocar dicha oración en el pasado. Y ahora la oración tiene sentido. Victor told me that the students, or Victor told me the students could eat in his class. Let me write down here. Victor told me students could eat in his class. Ahora tiene sentido.
Profe, ¿es necesario colocar el that?
No, exactamente. Lo puedes usar o lo puedes omitir si quieres o lo puedes usar si quieres. Está bien. Ahora, más adelante les voy a mostrar eso exactamente. Ahora nada más estamos analizando las oraciones. All right? Vamos a continuar con otro ejemplo diferente a este. Larissa said that the new teacher had given all the students an A last semester. Which is the real information? Can you tell me the real information, guys? Larissa said the new teacher had given all the students an A last semester. What do you think is the real information?
Mister, I want.
Go ahead, Miss Maria.
The new teacher has given all the students an A last semester.
Has given no sería correcto porque tenemos la palabra last semester, lo cual indicaría que eso sería ¿qué?
Give.
¿Cómo sería entonces?
Gave.
Teacher, what am I doing? The teacher what? Gave
Gave.
all
All the
ST
students.
and A
Last
last semester, right? So now, this is the real information. So, ¿cómo sé yo que la información real estaba en pasado? Porque a la hora de repetirla, tengo que cambiar el tiempo, porque ya el tiempo no va a ser el mismo en el cual lo dijeron en el momento que sucedió la acción o en el momento en el que información fue dada. Right? Entonces, sigamos con más ejemplos para que quede mucho más claro. Estos simplemente son ejemplos random de la conversación, solamente análisis. All right. Reporter speech. The first thing that you must take into account when it comes to reporter speech is that the tense of the verbs needs to be changed. The tenses are going to change. I mean, in the directed speech or in the normal speech, like the way I'm speaking, like right now, I am doing a directed speech. I am not repeating anything, right? I'm just teaching you today's class. I am not repeating anything. The directed speech. If I say something or a directed speech is in the simple present, what happens in the directed speech? What happens in the directed speech? It changes to?
Past simple.
It changes to past simple. It changes to past simple. If I have present progressive, what happens in the reporter speech?
Past progressive.
Past progressive.
Excellent, Ms. Yarden. If I have past simple, what happens in the reporter speech? Repeat again. If I have past simple, what happens in the reporter speech?
Past perfect.
Great uses. Past perfect. And what happens if I use present perfect? What do I have to use? One more time. Past perfect, right? So the real information needs to be transformed into a different tense depending on the tense of the real information. All right. So let's see some examples. Take a look at the girl here. She's talking on the phone and she says, the teacher is strict. Now, ¿cómo ustedes harían el report of speech aquí? Si alguien más les pregunta, ¿qué dijo ella? What did she say?
Say that the teacher was strict.
Excellent. She said that the teacher was strict. So here I know that the direct speech is in the present simple. So when I use the reported speech, it must be in the past simple. Another example. The teacher is giving everyone an A. How is the reported speech?
The teacher was gave.
No. ¿Cómo se usa el progresivo? Was gave? Take a look at here. The teacher what? I mean, he said. Recuerden que deben de ser siempre el verbo introductorio, right? En este caso.
Said the teacher
All right, repeat it again.
was given.
All right. So he said the teacher was given everyone an A. Great. The direct speech or the real information was in the present continuous and the present, and the reported speech in the past continuous, guys. I have forgotten to do this. All right, let's go to the next exercise. Next example. Take a look at the man. The teacher has graded our grammar tests. How is the reported speech?
He said that the teacher had graded our grammar test.
Right. He said that the teacher had graded our grammar test.
Grammar test.
Take a look. Very good. Joe, right? He said the teacher had graded our grammar test. As in the real information, we had present perfect, right? In the reported speech information, we get the past perfect. Now, let's move on to more exercises. Now, please change the direct speech, the one in quotations, into reported speech or indirect speech. So let's do the first one. My friend is helping me study. She said. How can you do the reported speech here? She said what? She said, people, try to do it. She said, do the reported speech of this one. She said
that her friend was helping her to study.
That her friend was helping her study. Very good, Miss Madeleine. That was excellent. Again, this was, take a look, present progressive, and in the reported speech, we use the past progressive. Very good. Now let's move on the next three exercises. 1, the library is closed, he said. All right, do it, put in reported speech.
He said that.
Yeah, Jesus?
Me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he said that the library was closed.
Excellent, mister. We have here the present simple, and in the reported speech, we use the past simple. Good. Number 2, we have registered 4 classes. They said.
They said they had registered for classes.
Excellent, miss. They said they had registered 4 classes. Great. And number 3, she got an A on the test. You said. She got.
You said she had got an A on the test.
Perfect, right? She said, you said she had gotten, or she had got. Remember that we have those 2 versions, right? That she had got, or that she had gotten an A on the test. Very good, people. So, how is it so far? Is it clear so far? People, is it clear so far?
Yes, mister.
Yes.
All right, let's move on with more changes and stuff, right? These were, this was just like the general view. Remember, let me go back for a second here. Remember that we have 12 different tenses in English, but here I'm just telling you 4 different tenses, right? Like showing you examples of 4 different sentences. But in the next PowerPoint presentation, I will give you more and more detail, right? Now, second use or second thing. Other than, in the reported speech, not only the verbs are the normal verbs are the one that change. We also change modal verbs, right? And you know that modal verbs, we have more. We have will, we have can, we have may, we have must, we have should, and the others. But here, we have the modal verbs that we change, right? That we change when we use the reporter speech. For example, will. Will is a modal verb, but it's also an auxiliary verb, and it's used to talk about the future, right? So when we have a future sentence, we are supposed to use the conditional form in the reporter speech. So will become would. Can will become could. May will become might. And must becomes had to, right? Again, will become would, can become could, they become might, and must become had to, all right? So let's continue with examples. Take a look at the man here. He says, the test will be difficult. The test will be difficult. How do you think is the reporter's speech?
He said the test would be difficult.
Excellent, mister. He said the test would be difficult, right? Again, el test o el quiz será difícil. Y él dijo que el quiz sería difícil, right? That's how it changes. Another example. She said, here, take a look at the girl. You can use your notes on the test. How's the reporter's speech?
She said you could use your notes on this.
Okay, that's good, miss. Si de pronto es directamente a una persona como tal, pero como estamos hablando de un salón de clase, no, creo que este you significa nosotros, right? So we could, but it was good what you said. What you said was perfect. She said we could use our notes on the test. Very good, miss. Excellent. Now, more examples. Take a look at the woman. We may have a substitute teacher. What do you think is a reporter's speech?
She said that we might have a substitute teacher.
Excellent, miss. So, she said we might have a substitute teacher. Good. How about the next one? Another woman. You must study hard for the final exam. This is a hidden message for you. All right. You must study hard for the final exam. What do you think is the reporter's speech?
He said you had to study hard for the final exam.
Excellent, miss. So she said we had to study hard, or you had to study hard in case of one person for the final exam. Excellent, right? Excellent. So is it clear so far, like with the second part?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm happy that you're understanding this part that it can be a little tricky. Good. Let's practice. You can relax about the exam, she said.
She said you could relax about the exam.
Perfect. She said you could, or maybe if it's direct to me, right? She said I could relax about the exam, but you said perfect, miss. Now, let's do the 3 next. We'll help you with your homework, they said.
They say they will help me with my homework.
Perfect. They said they would help me with my homework. Great. 2. Anna must finish her paper, he said.
He said Anna have to finish her paper.
Say it again. Is it present or past?
He said Anna had to finish her paper.
Great, great. He said Anna had to finish her paper. Good. 3. She may take a different class, you said.
You said that she might take a different class.
Excellent, Mr. Jesus. Yes, you said she might take a different class. Perfect. It was perfect. Now, I am pretty happy that you understood that part. Now, let's move on to the next one. These were some modal verbs, right? That they change when they use for reporter speech. Now, we are going to speak about some modal verbs that do not change when you transform or when you use the reporter speech, right? What are those verbs or those modal verbs? They are should, could, might, and ought to. They stay the same, right? So for example, take a look at these 2 girls right here, and this one says, you shouldn't tell this secret to anyone. What do you think then is the reporter speech?
She said you shouldn't tell this secret to anyone.
Very good, miss. She said I, or she said you. Normally when you say you, it's because you're addressing the other person, so you're supposed to say I, right? So she said I shouldn't tell this secret to anyone. Good. How about this? You ought to tell this to a friend. What is the reporter's speech?
She said that I ought to tell this to a friend.
Excellent. He said I ought to tell this to a friend. Very good, right? So they don't have any change. They are the same in the dialect and the reporter's speech as well. Now let's move on with more things that do not change. For example, the following do not change. When you use the past perfect, you know, the reporter's speech is the same. Past perfect. When you use conditional type 2 and conditional type 3, nothing changes. It's the same. However, in the conditional type 2, you can change it if you want to. All right. I'm going to give you an example now. And finally, for past modals. So take a look at this man right here, right? And he says the following: I had studied. If I had studied, I would have gotten an A. What kind of sentence is this one? What kind of sentence is this one? Take a look. We have here if. If this what?
It's like a conditional.
There's a conditional, right? And what type? What type? 3. Great. This is type 3. Now here it says that when we have conditional type 3, the past perfect, the past unreal conditional, right, which is conditional type 3, we are not supposed to change anything, right? So how do you think is the reported speech? Try to do it. Él dijo, he said.
Present
He said,
and past real condition.
All right, but how do you put this sentence into reported speech?
he said if he had studied, he would have gotten an A.
Yeah, just the same, right? He said if he had studied, he would have gotten an A. Take a look. The sentence is just the same, right? Nothing changes. Everything stays the same, right? Now, another example. I could have gotten help from a tutor. Could have gotten. This is past model. So how do you think is the reported speech? If here it says the past model don't change. So how would it be? How do you think it could be? He said what?
He said that he could have gotten help from a tutor.
Excellent, miss. He said he could have gotten help from a tutor, right? Excellent. Great. Another example. I thought I had chosen the easy teacher. This is past perfect. So how do you think is the reporter speech?
He said he thought he had chosen the easy teacher.
Perfect, miss. He said he thought he had chosen the easy teacher. Great, that was perfect. So in all of these sentences, right, in all of these situations in which we use past perfect, the present and the past on real conditional, so 2 and 3, and the past models, nothing changes. Everything is going to stay the same in the reporter speech, right? Now, let's practice a little bit, guys. We ought to study some more, he said.
He
Yes?
said,
He said that. Prosigue.
All right. All right, do people, please.
He said that they ought to study some more.
All right, he said that we, right, ought to study some more. Great. Now, 3 more. 1, if I knew, I would tell you she said. How would it be, guys?
She said if she knew, she would tell you.
Perfect. Excellent, right? That is the way. Take a look. She said if she knew, she would tell, well, in this case, she would tell me, right? Because you're talking you. Now, something that I told you before is that the conditional type 2, like in this case, could or can be transformed in the reported speech. Like this is good because in the slide presentation, I told you that it is not supposed to be changed or everything stays the same, but you can also change it if you want to, but only this one, right? Only this one. How would it be? Something like, she said if, she had known, right? Hang on. If she had known, what am I doing? She had known. Why had known? Because this is past, right? Then she would have, where is it? She would have told me. This is also another version of it, right? You can also use it with the past model this way. If she had, well, she said if she had known, she would have told me. Also possible, but you can also use this version. So you can use the version you prefer, all right? It's not necessary. Actually, the grammatically correct version, or the version that you are going to be assessed or evaluated in the final term, or even in the platform, is going to be this one that we have right here, all right? Let's continue. Number 2, I might have known the test was difficult, he said. So guys, how would it be? I might have known the test was difficult, he said.
He said he might have known the test was difficult.
All right, have, all right, have. Remember that nothing changes. So he said he might have known the test was difficult, right? Everything is fine, miss, but remember that after might, in this kind of past models, have never changes, right? Stays the same. 3, she had the teacher before. That teacher before, sorry. We said
she had the teacher before.
all right, perfect. We said she had that teacher before. All right, guys, let me ask you, is this clear so far?
Yes.
All right, if it's clear, now let's go to the second PowerPoint presentation. That is going to be, for more practice and enter in detail. So let me see where it is. No, I gotta come here. Whew. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right, reporter speech. Now I have already told you what reported speech is for, what reported speech is, how it is used and everything, right? So we can skip this part right here. And this is like the use. This is like this part down here is like the definition. So how do we use it, or what do we use it for? We used reported speech when we want to tell another person about a conversation that took place in the past. Maybe a telephone conversation, maybe something that happened on the television, like on the news, something that happened in the world, maybe a story, or maybe something that happened to our neighbor, or to my girlfriend, or to your boyfriend, or to your husband, or to whatever, right? Anything. They might have, there might have so many possibilities. Now, the reported speech, as I said before, I have already told you that the things that changes are the verbs, right? The verb and the tense are the one, and the tenses are the one that change. But here, in the reporter's speech, not only the tense change. Maybe you realized, but sometimes when I say you, in the reporter's speech was I. So the personal pronouns change too. Maybe you realized in the previous PowerPoint presentation that the possessive adjective like mine, your, his, her, our, their, those also change when we go to the reporter's speech. So we need to use them in order for the sentence that we say to be logical for me and also for the person that I'm going to repeat the information to, right? Other thing that changes is the demonstrative pronouns. They are these. These become that in the reporter's speech. And these become those in the reporter's speech, right? And the final thing that changes are the time expressions and the place expressions. They also change in the reported speech. Now, let's begin with the tenses, or the verb tenses right here, to see how they're changed. So this is more detailed. Again, we're going to read and we're going to transform it into the reporter's speech, all right? So, hang on. The first one, I know quite a lot of people here. This is present simple. And when we use present simple, we have to use the past simple in the reporter's speech. You already know that because I already told this. So how would it be, guys? He said that he what?
He knew.
He knew, right? He knew. Good. You got the past form. Now, the next example. John is feeling much better, Paul said. Now, is feeling refers to the present continuous. And when we use present continuous in the reporter's speech, we have to use past continuous. So, he said that John what?
Was feeling.
Great. Was feeling much better. Perfect. Now, I enjoyed my holiday in the States, David said. Now, enjoyed tells me that the sentence is in the simple past. And when we have the simple past, we have to use the past perfect in the reported speech, right? So, he said that he would.
Had enjoyed.
Perfect. Had enjoyed. I think had enjoyed his holidays in the States. But now wait a second. The grammatically correct version is the one that you can see right here, right? Simple past, past perfect. This is the one. But there is also another version that is possible in the end that you can use. And is that when you use a simple past sentence and you want to report it or put it in the reporter's speech, you can also use the simple past. So it stays the same. So I can say, he said, give me a second here. He said that he enjoyed his holiday in the States. And it also makes sense. So you can decide which one to use. But I repeat, please try to learn this one right here, the past perfect one, because that is the one that you are going to be evaluated in the tests, in the final term, and in the platform as well. All right? But you already know that you can use both. Simple past, or simple past perfect, which is actually like the one that should be done, right? Like the one that should be used. Now, the following one. Jackie wasn't feeling very well, the teacher said. Now, wasn't feeling refers to the past continuous. And when we want to use the reporter's speech, we have to use the past perfect continuous. So, how is that? He said that Jackie what?
Hadn't been feeling.
Perfect. Hadn't been feeling, right? He said that Jackie hadn't been feeling very well. Él dijo que Jackie no se había estado sintiendo bien, right? That's what you got right here. Following one. They have seen the Eiffel Tower, Sean said. Have seen tells me that the sentence is in the present perfect. So in the reporter's speech, you have to use the past perfect. So he said that they what?
Had seen.
There you go. Had seen the Eiffel Tower. Great. Next one. I have been waiting for ages, my father said. Now, have been waiting for ages tells me that this is a present perfect continuous sentence, right? And when we use present perfect continuous sentences, we have to use past perfect continuous as well in the reporter speech. So he said that he what?
Had been waiting.
Great. Had been waiting for ages, right? Él dijo que él había estado esperando muchísimo tiempo. Great. Next one. Nobody had warned them about the storm. The politician said. Had warned tells me that the situation or the tense is in the past perfect. And when we use the reporter's speech, there's no change because we use the same past perfect, right? So he said that nobody what?
Had warned.
All right, had warned them about the storm. There you go, right? One more time. So far, I think it's easy. Let's continue down here. She had been reading all day, Brenda said. Now, had been reading tells me that this sentence is in the past perfect continuous. And when we have a sentence that is in the past perfect continuous and we transform it into reported speech, in the reported speech we have to use the same, so no change. Past perfect continuous. So she said that she what?
Had been reading.
Excellent, miss. Had been reading. Very good all day. Now, any questions so far? Clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. This is not everything, so let's continue. Let me show you more changes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Right. Now let me move to the next part, but let me delete this part. Let's continue here, right? So, I will be here with you. Robert promised me. Future simple. Now, will, again, tells me that this is a sentence in the future. And when I use a sentence in the future, in the reporter's speech, I have to use the conditional form. And what is the conditional form? Let's say, Robert promised that he what, guys?
Will.
All right. That he would be, right? That he would be there with me. Again, next one. Jean is going to study French, Paul said. Is going to study tells me that this is a sentence with be going to referring to the future, right? And when I have a be going to sentence in the reporter's speech, I have to use was or were going to. I have to put the verb be in the past form so I can have a future in the past. There you go. Paul said that John what? Paul said that John what, guys?
Was going.
Was
There you
going to
go.
study French.
Was going to study French. Paul dijo que John iba. Past, right? Iba a estudiar francés. So these are all the tenses and all the changes that we get when it comes to verb tenses. And as a review, just as a review, guys, we got here the modal verbs one more time. Remember that can becomes could.
Could.
May becomes might.
Might.
Must becomes had to. And will and shall becomes what? Conditional. So would.
Would.
Clear?
Yes.
All right. I feel happy that you understand this part. Now, this is the most important thing, guys, because you always need to change the tenses. And if you don't know how to change the tenses, then it's going to be incorrect. Now that we finished the tenses, let's go to the other parts that are changeable, like the subjects, the time expressions, the places expressions, and well, so on and so forth. So let's begin with the time expressions and tenses expressions, like this, right? Hang on. So, the time and the place. In the case of the time, we got some examples right here. Take a look. The green part is the dative speech, and the blue part is the reporter's speech. So, for example, when you use the word now, it becomes then. Like, for example, I have to study now. If I change this into the reporter's speech, I have to say, well, Johan said that he had to study then, right? Now becomes then. Ago becomes before. For example, I watched a movie 2 days ago. Johan said he watched a movie, or he had watched a movie 2 days before. Ago becomes before the reporter's speech. Today, that day. I have to study today. Johan said that he had to study that day.
That day.
There you go. Tomorrow becomes the following day or the day after. Like, tomorrow, like I am going to visit my grandmother tomorrow. Johan said that he is going to visit, or that he was going to visit, right, his grandmother the following day or the day after. This is how we use it here. The same thing happens with yesterday, but we use the previous day and the day before. Like, I ate pizza yesterday. Johan said that he had eaten pizza the previous day.
The previous day or the day before.
Excellent, miss. Last week and last month and last year and last whatever you want to use, we use the same thing. We use the same thing. The previous, or like the previous week or the week after, or the previous month or the month after, or the previous year or the year after, or the previous class or the class after. Whatever. It depends on you, right? And the same thing happens with next week or next month, or all those time expressions that are used with next, like the following, and like the following week or the week after, or the following month or the month after, the following year or the year after, the one you like. These are the changes that we use in time. Now, the changes that we use in place are this. They are so little. They are so few, as you can see. Here becomes there. I have to be here today. Johan said that he had to be there today, right? This becomes that, and this becomes those. So these are the changes in place, guys. Ya les había dicho yo, de manera general, el reporter speech, right? ¿Qué significa? ¿Cómo se usa el reporter speech? Ya hemos estado practicando y viendo cómo se realiza, cómo se usa y todo, right? Pero también podemos dividir el reporter speech por tipos de información a repetir, o reporting, or types of reporting, right? Llamámosle a esta clase de oraciones, a cosas que se pueden colocar en el reporter speech, types of reportings, right? So tenemos reporting statements, reporting questions, reporting requests, and reporting commands, and reporting suggests. Five type of things. Like in general, is everything, because we can report anything, right? If you say something, of course, you can report that you said, right? If you repeat it to another person, hey, what did he say? Oh, he said this, this, and that, right? Take a look. Again, you can report it. But they are, they can be divided like in groups. So let's begin with the first group. This is reporting statements. Now, before we continue, let me ask you guys, what is a statement? Do you know what a statement is? Can you give me the definition of a statement, please? So guys, statement. Do you know what a statement is? Do you know what a statement is? All right, I'm going to assume that your silent is a no. But guys, you should know, and I know that you know, maybe you don't remember. All right, a statement is a negative or an affirmative sentence. That's it, no more, as simple as that. So, I don't like hot dogs. Hey, a negative sentence. What is that? A statement. I love going to the cinema. Hey, an affirmative sentence. What's that? A statement. So again, the statements are negative and affirmative sentences. All right? Clear?
Yes.
All right. Now, the students are tired, said the teacher, or the teacher said. How can you put this into the reporter's speech? Like, this is a statement, an affirmative sentence, right? So how do you put it in the reporter's speech, guys?
The teacher said.
All right, continue, mister.
No, sí.
All right, Mr. Nayeli, he's a gentleman. Go ahead.
Well, and the teacher said the students were tired.
Excellent, right? The teacher said the students were tired. There you go. The teacher said the students were tired. Good. We have another one here. Take a look. It's the funniest show I've ever seen. Joan told me. Joan is a girl, by the way. All right? It's a woman. It's the funniest show I've ever seen. Joan told me. Reporter speech, please.
She said that it's the funniest show that she had ever seen.
Great. Right? Joan told me that it was the funniest show she had ever seen. Perfect, miss. That was great. Another example. I'll call you this afternoon. Mary assured. Assured means asegurar, and is also another reporting verb. Ahora, así como tenemos reporting statements y los grupos de los cuales estaba hablando, también tenemos verbos que nos ayudan a reportar. Y entre ellos están, los más populares, say and tell, y ahora les muestro assured, right? Asegurar. So Mary assured, try to put the reporter speech using the word assured. Like Mary assured, continue with the information. Guys, Mary assured.
Mary assured she would call me this afternoon.
She would call me this afternoon. Good. Or she would call us this afternoon. Right? Good. Mary assured us that she would call us this afternoon. All right. I was talking about us. But it was great, miss. Perfect. So, no recuerdo quién fue quien me hizo la pregunta, pero si se dan cuenta, en todas estas oraciones tenemos that, ¿cierto? Pero ¿qué pasa con that? That is in between parentheses, right? Is in brackets. What happens here? It means that it's optional. You can use it or not. If you use it, it's great, it's fine. If you don't use it, it's great, it's fine. No problem, all right? Now, I was telling you about those reporting verbs, and in the book, you are going to find some of those reporting verbs, but this is like a more complete, list of reporting verbs that you can use in, for this kind of, for the reporter's speech. So they are admit, admit, answer, argue, assure, boast about, complain to or complaint about, deny, explain, grumble about, object to, observe, point out, promise, protest against or protest about, remark, and reply. Now, as you can see, some of these verbs, they have like a mark, a pound there. It means that these verbs are used with the ing form. I'm going to give you some examples at the end. Now, the most common, we don't use all of these verbs all the time, right? Because some of them are common, some of them are not common. That depends on the situation. But the most common for all situations are tell plus an object. Remember that we use tell for a person, like tell me, tell you, and say without an object. So say only the situation. Those are the two most common reporting verbs for the reporter's speech in reporting statements. We are talking about affirmative or negative sentences. All right? Now let's move on to the next group of reporting reporting sentences. The first one was reporting statements, and now we have reporting questions. In the case of the questions, remember we have two types of questions. The first type is yes, no questions, and the second type is WH questions. Now, first, let's speak about yes, no questions. When we have a question that is a yes, no question, we don't use that like in the previous examples. Hang on here. Give me a second, guys. All right. We don't use that like in these examples, right? Because they are not statements. We use that for statements. But in the case of questions, we use if or, in the case of WH, yes, no questions, we use if or whether, right? If or whether. Now, let me give you an example in Spanish. ¿Les gusta la pizza? ¿Cómo pueden reportar este ejemplo que les estoy dando en español? ¿Les gusta la pizza? Es una pregunta. ¿Les gusta la pizza? Hagan el reporter speech en español usando esa pregunta. ¿Les gusta la pizza?
Él pregunta que si le gusta la pizza.
¿Qué dijo Miss Candy? Él pregunta o él preguntó
que si le gusta la pizza.
Right, le gusta la pizza. Él preguntó si le gusta la pizza. Él preguntó si le gusta la pizza. Right? So, when we use WH questions, no hay manera de usar that. In English, we don't use that. In Spanish, maybe it's a little possible, but it's also weird. But let's go to it. Are you working these days? He said. Try to do the reported version in Spanish. I mean, sorry, in English. With this question, are you working these days? This is a yes no question. So, are you working these days? He said, or he asked.
Were you working these days? He said.
I mean, do the reported speech. That is not reported speech.
He said, if I am working these days.
Okay, that's pretty much acceptable, Miss. But what happens? This is present continuous, so you have to use. What do we have to use? Past continuous. So he said or he asked, porque es una pregunta como tal, ¿cierto? Él preguntó.
If I was working
these days, right? Very good, Miss. He asked if or whether I was working those days. So in the case of whether, remember, it's just the same as if. It means the same. It's just more formal, right? So he asked if I was working these days, or he asked whether I was working these days. Tres cosas a tener en cuenta en este tipo de oraciones cuando reportamos una pregunta, un yes no question. La primera, no usamos that. Usamos if o, digo, usamos if
o whether.
Número 2. El orden de la pregunta va a desaparecer en el reported speech. Ustedes muy bien saben que cuando hacemos una pregunta, disculpen, cuando hacemos una pregunta, el orden es verbo, verbo to be o verbo auxiliar, ¿cierto? Y luego el sujeto, like, do you, are you, ese es el orden de las preguntas, como ya ustedes lo conocen. Pero cuando lo transformamos en el reported speech, ya deja de ser una pregunta como tal y va a pasar a ser una oración normal. Es decir, el orden de la pregunta no va a mantenerse. Va a mantenerse el orden de una oración normal, como si fuera un statement, como en esta oración. Así, statements. So, I was, por eso yo no digo, he asked if was I working, sino, he asked if I was working, right? And number 3, tercera cosa que debes tener en cuenta es que como es una pregunta, a la hora de usar el reported speech, el question mark o el signo de interrogación no se usa en el reported speech, solamente se usa un punto. ¿Por qué? Repito, esta oración ya no es una pregunta, ya no es más una pregunta. Él me preguntó, ya con esto estoy diciendo que fue una pregunta en cierto momento, right? Él me preguntó si estaba trabajando. Si estaba trabajando, ya no es una pregunta como tal, es simplemente información. So, si ustedes por algún momento llegan a hacerlo así igualito, pero colocan un signo de interrogación, ¿qué pasa? Está malo. ¿Oyeron? Si por algún momento ustedes lo están haciendo así, pero aquí, después del if y el whether, el segundo sujeto y el verbo, ustedes primero no siguen esta estructura, sino que primero colocan el verbo y el sujeto. Es decir, el orden de una pregunta también está mal. Right? Y si por algún momento, razón, motivo o circunstancia ustedes llegan a usar if con that, es decir, he asked me that if, como en español, que sí, también está mal. All right? So those are the 3 things to take into account when it comes to a yes, no question. So let's see more examples. Did you speak to John last night? She asked. How would it be in the reported speech, guys? How would it be in the reported speech, guys? Did you speak to John?
Asked if I had spoke to John last night. Spoken.
All right, now it's perfect. She asked if I had spoken to John last night. Perfect. Ahora, en el ejemplo que les voy a mostrar, hay otra forma. Recuerden que no solamente, gracias, no solamente hay un solo reporting verb, es decir, un solo verbo que nos permite o nos introduce el reported speech. No, tenemos muchas clases de verbos, así como les mostré hace un momento. Ahora, lo que les mostré los verbos, los reporting verbs for los statements, for the statements, tenemos aquí también reporting verbs for questions. So, hasta el momento tenemos ask y ahora una expresión, que sería, she wanted to know if I had spoken to Jay or John the night before. Now, Miss, recuerda que también esto debió ser cambiado. Take a look. A mí también se me pasó. Disculpa. Last night. Recuerda que cuando tenemos las oraciones con last time expressions con last, también tenemos que usar esta versión. Last, the night before, or the previous night. Now. Oh, yes, water. WH questions. Oh, by the way, is this clear? Are the yes, no question clear?
Yes.
All right, now let's go to the WH questions. In the case of the WH questions, everything is the same, but the only thing that is going to be different is that we are not going to use if or whether. No, instead of if or whether, we are going to use the WH word, right? The WH question word. For example, take a look at here. Where did you go last summer? He asked me, because it's a question, right? He asked me where. Why where? Because it's a WH question, and in the WH question, you are telling me, or you are using where, right? So, he asked me where I had gone the previous summer. Here, how long were you waiting for us? She wanted to know because it's a question. She wanted to know. Now, to know what? You are going to give information. As this is a WH question. What is the WH question word? How long? So she wanted to know how long I had been waiting for them, right? So this is the way we use it for the WH question words. WH questions. It's the same as the yes, no questions, but the only difference is that we don't use if or whether. Instead, we use the WH question words. Clear? Clear, guys?
Yes.
My throat was dry. There you go. Introductory verbs. For the question, for the reporting verbs, right, of the statements where the group or the list I showed you before. Now, the introductory verbs or the reporting verbs for the reporting questions are ask, wonder, would like to know, or want to know. Those are the 4 most common ones. But when it comes to something common or being common, then the most popular one, or the one that everyone uses, is ask, right? Ask is the most common one. So if you want to use ask, it's okay. If you want to use the rest of them, it's also fine, it's also correct. Now let's move on with the next group. So far we have spoken about 3 of them. Let's move on to the next one. Now here, the reported speech that I have shown you changes completely. Ya, esta de pronto es como que la parte más difícil de reported speech. ¿Por qué? Porque hasta el momento, bueno, ya vieron que todo es lo mismo. Pues cambiamos los verbos, cambiamos los tiempos, cambiamos los sujetos, cambiamos, bueno, dependiendo de lo que sea, ya saben cómo hacerlo, el reporter speech. Pero cuando se trata de reporting commands, ya saben que un command es una orden. Cuando se trata de reportar o de repetir una orden que alguien ya ha dado, la estructura en inglés cambia un poco. Entonces, ya esto sería como esa pequeña excepción a la regla. Les muestro. ¿Cómo se hacen las órdenes en inglés? Pues recuerden que las órdenes en inglés las hacemos con oraciones imperativas. ¿Cuáles son las oraciones imperativas? Like this. The imperative sentences are like this. Stay here. Listen to me. Speak in English. Go to page number. All right. Go home. Whatever. Do the homework. Don't cheat on your exam. Whatever, right? So, todas esas oraciones que acaban de dar son órdenes, son commands. Y ellas en inglés se realizan usando el modo imperativo. Ahora, cuando vamos a reportar o vamos a usar el reporter speech en esta clase de órdenes, no vamos a usar la forma convencional que ya les mostré, sino vamos a usar esta forma aquí. Vamos a usar el infinitivo. Es decir, to o en el caso de positivo, to más el infinitivo, o en el caso de negativo, not to más el verbo. All right? For example, he said to us, stay here. Esta sería la forma normal. ¿Cómo sería la forma del reporter speech? A esta oración, ¿cómo sería, a esta orden, cómo sería el reporter speech? De la siguiente manera. He told us to stay here. Él nos dijo que nos quedáramos aquí. Right? He told us to stay here. ¿Por qué to stay here? Porque stay here es una orden, es una acción imperativa, y cuando tenemos una oración imperativa tenemos que usar el infinitivo. En este caso no usamos not porque la oración es positiva, pero en caso de que sea negativa, pues tendríamos que usar not to. All right? Les voy a dar más ejemplos. Take a look. Esta oración es negativa here. Don't mention that. An order, an imperative sentence. Don't mention that. Here. He told me not to mention that. Él me dijo que no mencionara eso. Right? Infinitive. Again, why infinitive? Because don't mention that is an order. Say that again. Another order. You say, repeat it again. Order, right? Here, he asked me to say that again. Él me pidió que dijera eso de nuevo. Ahora, las órdenes y, justo como en este caso que tengo aquí, las requests, aunque no todos, los requests son las órdenes, bueno, las órdenes son órdenes, right? Orders. Y los requests, que serían las peticiones, también se usan de esta manera, especialmente las peticiones con ask. Ahora le voy a escribir cuáles son los verbos que se usan de esta forma. All right? So, is this clear? Guys, is this clear for you?
Yes.
Sé que tienen que practicar más porque puede ser un poco confuso, ya que ya les vengo explicando la manera difícil, no difícil, convencional y bastante, con tantos cambios, ¿cierto? De el reporter speech, y esta es una forma completamente diferente del reporter speech. So, hay que practicarlo, all right? So, the reporting verbs for the commands are tell, ask, beg, invite, warn, order, command, and instruct. Hay más, pero estos son los más comunes. Normalmente, tell is the most common one. All right, now let's move to the next group. Reporting suggestions. You know, the suggestion is a recommendation, right? And when we use recommendation, we normally use should. Y ya les expliqué cómo hacer un report speech, una oración en report speech con should. Pues les había dicho que should no cambia, ¿cierto? So, si no quieren usar should, there are other ways of expressing this, and this is with the word suggest. Now, with the verb suggest, we have two versions. We can use suggest plus gerund, or suggest plus that, like we normally did before. Let me give you the examples. These are like the different ways of suggesting something. Let's, why don't we, shall we, or why not, or we should, right? We can say all of these versions, but we are not going to use should here because should is used differently. But this, we can use it right here, right? So take a look at this example. Let's go to the theater. Una sugerencia, a suggestion. Why don't we go to the theater? The same thing, but a different way. Shall we go to the theater? The same thing, but in a different way, right? All of them, the same suggestion, but in different ways. Now, how do I do this in the reporter speech? Like this. Take a look. The first version, she suggested going to the theater. Ella sugirió que fuéramos al teatro. Take a look. Aunque aquí está con ing, esto quiere decir que la oración está en, take a look, en el pasado, right? Ella sugirió que fuéramos. One more time. She suggested to going to the theater. And in the second form, she suggested that we should go to the theater, or, si no usamos should, sería, she suggested that we went to the theater. All right? Now, ¿por qué no uso, por qué should es entre paréntesis? Bueno, normalmente esta oración debería usarse sin should. ¿Por qué? Pues porque ya suggest me está indicando a mí que esto es una sugerencia. Y volver a usar should sería redundante. Estás hablando de lo mismo dos veces, right? Entonces, si vamos a usar suggest, lo más normal sería no usar should, pero no está del todo mal usarlo. Si ustedes deciden hacer esta oración de esta forma como está aquí escrita, está perfecto, chicos. No hay problema. So, she suggested that we should go to the theater. Fine. Si no, la forma normal. Si esto es aquí, let's say, why don't we go? Presente, right? She suggested that we, past simple in the reporter speech, went to the theater. Take a look. Traten de hacer esta ustedes, chicos. Let's not argue again. He said. Try to do that one, guys. Let's not argue again. With the two versions, the first one. Háganlo primero con la primera forma de suggest. Con suggest ing. So, ¿cómo sería esta? Please, guys, hurry up, hurry up.
He suggested not arguing again.
Perfect. He suggested not arguing again. Perfect. And how would be the version with the second one? ¿Cómo sería la segunda forma?
He suggested that we shouldn't argue again.
All right. Eso en el caso de should, ¿cierto? Y si no usáramos should. Si no usáramos should, ¿cómo sería? He suggested that what? ¿Cómo sería si no usáramos should, people? They what? ¿Alguno tiene una idea? Aquí se los expliqué, ¿no? Sería de la manera normal, como ya les había mostrado al principio. Todo lo que les mostré al principio sería de esa forma, right? He suggested that they didn't argue again. There you go. So guys, this was the form with suggestions. Aquí no vamos a tener más verbos, el único verbo que tenemos aquí es el verbo suggest. So aquí no hay ninguna lista de verbos. Let's move to the next group. This group is similar to the group of commands in which we use the infinitive, right? It's similar to this group. Now, let me show you how. Take a look. John, don't open the window, please, I said. The reporting verbs are beg, ask, demand, or request, not to, right? So, I asked, I requested, or I begged John not to open the window, right? Here, can you let me use your phone, please? I asked my neighbor to let me use her phone, right? Ahora, aunque esto es un request, también, la segunda oración, estoy hablando de la segunda oración, también es una pregunta yes, no. It's a yes, no question. Así que ustedes si lo quieren usar como request de esta manera, está bien. O si lo quieren usar como un yes, no question de esta manera, también está perfecto. I asked my neighbor if or whether I could use her cell phone. I mean, las dos formas de la que ustedes quieran en caso tal de que sea una pregunta, está perfecto. Esto en el caso de los requests. And the reporting verbs, again, are beg, ask, demand, and request. And they usually take an indirect object. ¿Qué quiere decir con un indirect object? Es decir, que vamos a mencionar a la persona que recibe la acción. So, por ejemplo, yo le pregunté a mi vecino, ¿cuál es el indirect object? En este caso sería mi vecino, right? O me preguntó a mí. So, he asked me. He told me those things, right? Well, that is it, guys. This is just like some extra words that can be used with to, and some extra words for the reported speech that can be used with the gerund form. Like, for example, here, let's read this. And would you wait half an hour? Tom, all right. So Tom agreed. Agree, refuse, offer, promise, and threaten. Tom agreed to wait half an hour. That's it, right? To infinitive. Would you lend me another 50 euros? No, I won't lend you any more money. Refused. So David refused not to lend me any more money, right? Or not to lend him any more money. In the case of the gerunds, we have accuse of, admit, apologize, deny, and insist on. Estos son algunos de los verbos que estaban en la primera lista que les mostré, right? ¿Y cómo se usa la parte gerundio? Sería de esa manera. You took my money. All right. You took my money. Then he accused her of taking, he accused her or of taking his money, right? Here, I didn't steal it. He denied stealing it. Here, I am sorry, I'm late. She apologized for being late. And here, let me play, please. She insisted on paying, or let me do the other form. She insisted on letting her pay, right? So this is like the way we use the gerund and the way we use the infinitive. It's like two ways we use the report speech. Guys, this is it. Do you have any question? Is this clear for you? People, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Let me delete the annotations. All right, guys, that is it. That is it.